Hey, good day, everybody. My name is Skip Johnson, and this is Skip's Boomerisms. The reason I started this channel is, excuse me, I'm tired of listening to basically all the stupidity that's going on in the United States right now, and I've kind of had it. It's not even stupidity; it's just flat ignorance. And there's a lot of reasons for it, and over the next videos, we'll get into the ignorance and why it's there. But this page basically came about because I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I wanted to say my piece. That's the beauty of being in this wonderful country. I had a really good friend of mine, a mentor, years and years and years ago, who gave me a great piece of advice. Actually gave me two. The first one was this. He said, and I was learning how to rock climb, and the first thing we were going to do is we were going to rappel. And not a big fan of heights. And he said, the safety net's there. He said, but the biggest thing is the hardest thing to do is take the first step. So that's where we are. And then the other thing he said to me was, in climbing, he said, just climb. He said, use your legs. Look for your handholds and move, because he who hesitates falls. So we're going to jump into this, and we're going to do some discussing of things that are probably going to upset a few people. But we base everything on fact, and you'll see that here in a minute. I don't like saying things that I can't back up. I don't believe in feelings. Feelings are something that you control. It's like emotions. They're a choice. So feelings aren't allowed here. I don't care how you feel. I could care less how you feel. I care about facts. So if you want to come back and make comments and whatever, that's great. Make comments, but don't tell me how you feel. Back it up with fact. And if you don't want to debate based on fact, then don't. But don't give me feelings, because I'm just going to delete your comment. We'll get through the bookkeeping and the business part of it here. If you like what you hear in these next in this video and the next one's coming up, hit the like button. That's really important. Hit the follow button. That way you'll know when I post something. There's also a little bell. If you hit the little bell, it'll notify you when I posted a video. And then by all means, share. The reason I'm asking you to share and follow is because we need to get people re-educated in America. This is not political. That's not what it's meant to be. This is an old man voicing his opinion on the ignorance of what the United States has become. And it's really, really just flat pissing me off. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into it. And I guess the big topic of hand today is immigration and ICE. With what's going on in the great state, my home state of Minnesota, is appalling, embarrassing, and a great representation of ignorance in America. So I want to give a little pointer here. Like I said, I have everything documented. This is from the usconstitution.net. It's called Constitution and Immigration Policies. If you can read that, if not, it might be backwards. But it is from the usconstitution.net. I cite all my stuff. It says the Constitution grants Congress the power to establish a uniform rule of naturalization, laying the groundwork for federal oversight on citizenship. And then Supreme Court cases that address immigration. The one that really pertains the most here is Che-Chong-Ping versus United States, 1889, also known as the Chinese exclusion case, underscoring Congress's authority. The court backed the Chinese Exclusion Act, asserting the United States federal government's sovereignty in making immigration decisions. And then it's backed up again on the same case, Chu Cheng-Ping. The court upheld the Chinese Exclusion Act, emphasizing that the power to exclude foreigners is a fundamental aspect of national sovereignty. We are a nation. We are sovereign, just like every other nation in the world. The next case citing was Fong Yu Ting versus United States in 1893. The court affirmed that the federal government's power to deport non-citizens was as essential as its powers to exclude them, underscoring that immigration control was firmly within the federal orbit. And then the last one I'm going to cite is INS versus Cardozo-Fonseca, and it was 1987. The court distinguished between standards for granting asylum and withholding deportation, acknowledging Congress's authority to create and refine immigration policies. These rulings consistently recognize and reinforce federal supremacy in immigration matters. They affirm that any attempt by individual states to regulate immigration runs contrary to the Constitution. Let me read that again. They affirm that any attempts by individual states to regulate immigration runs contrary to the Constitution. This ensures a cohesive and uniform immigration policy across all states, essential for both national identity and international relations. If you're confused by that last statement, let me see if I can simplify it for you. Sanctuary cities and sanctuary states are illegal. You can't have them by federal law. So going on with this, states occasionally pulled back. Arizona SB 1070 law in 2010 tried to grant state law enforcement more power in immigration matters. Supreme Court in Arizona versus United States in 2012 struck down key parts of the law, reaffirming federal responsibility. States might continue to challenge this, but the Constitution and Supreme Court precedents uphold federal authority, ensuring consistency across the nation. Then they use cites in the Constitution. United States Constitution. If you have questions, I got it right here. The first one is the Naturalization Clause. It's Article 1, Section 8 in the U.S. Constitution. This is Article 1, Section 8, highlighted. To establish a uniform rule of naturalization and uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcies throughout the United States. Uniform rules of naturalization. Section 8 in Article 1, U.S. Constitution. Okay? Then the next one cited is the Commerce Clause, Article 1, Section 8. And this alone goes back to the federal government to regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states and with the Indian tribes. There you go. It grants Congress the power to establish a uniform rule of naturalization, and the Commerce Clause empowers Congress to regulate commerce with foreign nations. The Supreme Court has interpreted this to include the movement of peoples across borders. There's the Necessary and Proper Clause in the Constitution. That's Article 6. The Constitution and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof. This Constitution and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made, or which shall be made, under the authority of the United States, shall be the supreme law of the land. And the judges in every state shall be bound thereby, anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. It's all right there, folks. And then lastly, the concept of inherent sovereign power. When you are a nation of sovereignty, which is the United States of America or any other country, they're all sovereign countries. The concept of inherent sovereign power recognizes that certain powers, including aspects of international relations and border control, are vested in the national government by virtue of its sovereignty. By virtue of its sovereignty, we, the government of the United States, the federal government of the United States, regulates immigration. You can't come into this country illegally and not expect consequences. excuse me, we do allow people into this country. That's what our country's founded on. So don't come back on me with, oh, we're all immigrants and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you're right. That's what Ellis Island was about. That was what the immigration policies were about. That's what naturalization is about. That's what becoming a U.S. citizen is all about. Sneaking over the border at night, coming in the back door and asking for benefits through NGOs like what happened during the last administration, that's not the legal way to do it. And as a result, we have, depending on whose estimate you're looking at, between 10 million and 15 million illegals that are here, and they need to go away. Plain and simple. I don't care who you are, you know it's wrong. If you were to try and break into Mexico, they arrest you. Unless you're coming to the United States. Other countries throughout the world will have you thrown in prison. You can't break into countries without consequences. Why we allow it? I don't know. Shouldn't happen. Especially under the past administration. That was a fiasco. And all the cries about ICE. Do any of you know about ICE? Sure you do. They're the bad guys, the Nazis, the SS, the whatever you want to call them. Well, I got a couple of facts for you here. Do you know when ICE was formed? You don't? Well, why not? Isn't that taught in schools these days? Huh. I'll be damned. The U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement official webpage is where this statement came from. It is a U.S. governmental page. You can look it up. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials webpage. On March 2003, Homeland Security Act passed and created ICE. Homeland Security's Act was passed in 2003 after what happened on 9/11 because we were attacked by illegal immigrants, foreigners. Shouldn't have been here. A lot of things have changed since then, hence Homeland Security. Congress granted ICE a unique combination of civic and criminal authority to better protect national security and public safety. ICE's primary mission is to promote homeland security and public safety through criminal and civil enforcement of federal laws governing border control, customs, trade, and here it is, immigration. They have more than 20,000 law enforcement and support personnel in more than 400 offices in the U.S. and around the world. Now, here's one that's going to blow your mind. So after this was formed in 2003, which was under Bush II, the next president, who was there for 8 years, was President Obama. Remember him? Everybody's favorite Democrat president, President Obama. Well, Obama removed 300,000 illegal immigrants 2 years in a row. That's 600,000 illegals removed in 2 years. And over his tenure, it was close to 1 million that were removed. They had either overstayed their visas or were criminals. And Obama even gave Tom Homan an award for his work. Where were the riots? Where were the riots? It is through ignorance, people. Flat out ignorance and stupidity and the bullcrap that's taught in schools today, propaganda of the left to provide our kids and my grandkids with a stupid education that has nothing to do with learning anything about mathematics, reading, writing, or civics, or history. It is all flat propaganda. And I'm sick and tired of it. And this is my first post. Not all of them will be this harsh. Not all of them will be about immigration or politics. But I'm fed up with the bull crap that is being fed to the youth of America or what has now evolved into my children having children and them feeding that bullcrap to my grandkids. It came about a long time ago, and it affects all of us, and I'll be explaining that part of it in a future video. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like, follow, and share the video, and I welcome your comments. Y'all have a great day.